Hi, it's DurchBurch.
ARMS. It's a game I've been excited for since the Switch announcement. I've been playing it quite a bit lately, and I've decided that I may as well do a review. I'm going to break down my opinions on 3 key facets of the game: the gameplay, the visuals, and the sound, before giving an overall score. Gameplay! ARMS is a fighting game. And what's a fighting game without tight controls? Whether you use the motion controls available in separated Joy-Cons, or the traditional ones of the Joy-Con grip and Pro Controller, ARMS feels good, and I mean really good. The game's use of HD Rumble lets you feel each punch as it gets sent out. This makes charged punches feel even better, as the controller vibrates more intensely. While the controls are quite good, there are downsides regardless of the way you prefer to play. If you prefer to play with separated Joy-Cons, it's very easy to accidentally throw a punch you didn't want to throw, and you can occasionally perform a throw when you intended to block. It should also be mentioned that you block more slowly than a grip or Pro Controller player, as for them, it's a mere button press. When using the grip or a Pro Controller, both arms are controlled by a single stick. This means that you can't perform a wide grab or even a hard-to-block tight grab. They're all a standard width. You also can't throw 2 punches curving from different directions, as the later punch will just follow a similar path to the first. These issues will very likely frustrate you as you play, but they're usually only minor setbacks and rarely determine the outcome of a match. The actual mechanics of the game are the worst part of the gameplay. Every character has their own unique mechanics, many of which sound overpowered. The problem is that they don't only sound overpowered, they are. It honestly feels like to balance the game, they never nerfed anyone, and instead buffed those that weren't performing as well. Just look at Ribbon Girl. She was high tier all the way back in the test punch. Why? She has 4 jumps. Where's the issue there? You can't aim vertically. That's right, in a game where punches take their time, you can't hit someone that knows how to play in a way that keeps them in and out of the air. While punches will aim up and down to match where your target is, they can't be shifted to higher or lower angles from there, at least outside of arms that already curve downwards on their own little bit, and some weird choice times, such as in Ribbon Girl stage, I tend to notice it. Regardless, this means that characters like Twintel, Ribbon Girl, and Helix can easily dodge a punch by just hovering, jumping, or stretching before dropping down to deliver a retaliatory hit. This aim issue is also very noticeable in V-Ball, as less skilled players will panic and wildly try to punch the ball, missing each time as it continues to drop perpendicular to their punches. If you look at the lesser used characters, you find the ones that are the most balanced, the tanks. While Mechanica can hover, she's easy to hit regardless, as her hover is slow and her mech is big. Master Mummy may be able to regenerate, but as he needs to shield to do so, he's left as a very large target for an easy grab. Despite my gripes, the fact that every character has unique mechanics is great. In a fighting game this simple, it's important to differentiate between characters, especially when every arm is unlockable for every character. I mean, I hate Helix's default arms, and the fact that I can unlock and use the arms of my choice, allowing me to pick him as my main, based solely on his mechanics and not his loadout, is something that I'm thankful for every time I boot up the game. When it comes to single player, you won't find much in ARMS. The main solo mode outside of training is the Grand Prix. You will quickly find that the AI is very skilled, even at the lowest difficulty, to get the true ending, level 4. They will block the moment you try to use your rush, so you really need to be strategic to avoid wasting it, ensuring that you start it up preferably right before a punch or a throw hits you. After finishing a run through a level 4 or higher Grand Prix, you're treated to a voice clip and a cute image of your character, often resolving their story arcs if present. Don't expect to want to spend too much time in Grand Prix, as it gets old pretty quickly. Multiplayer is where the game shines, and whether you like to casually play party mode or you want to battle it out in ranked, it's what this game is all about. Ranked makes use of fun rank names, all of which are relating in some way to spirals or spinning. matching the eye design of those with the trait dubbed by the community as the arms gene. The only problem with multiplayer modes comes in the form of free-for-alls, the worst being the 3-man, and the most hectic being the 4-man. These modes are almost never fun and feel shoehorned in and out of place with the mechanics. ARMS isn't Super Smash Bros. Or Mario Kart, it shines in 1v1s, and to a lesser extent 2v2s. If you're playing online, lag can be an issue, but not in the usual way. People with bad connections are usually thought of as being at a disadvantage, but in ARMS, people with bad connections are at times harder to hit, as they don't always appear where they actually are. However, you will appear somewhat more accurately to them, giving people with bad Wi-Fi a surprising advantage. Overall, I have to give the gameplay a measly 6 out of 10. While the game is fun and performs well, there are a lot of issues that make the game more frustrating than it needs to be. Visuals! When it comes to visuals, it's an area where ARMS really excels. The character models are all really well made, rarely showing their polygons outside of Helix at his blobbiest moments. The textures are also quite decent, with nothing looking overly blurry or stretched, especially considering that the hardware here is similar to that of the Wii U. The textures and bump maps are actually so detailed that even on an HD screen, there's always more detail that you won't notice until you zoom in close to the character. The hair is well defined through bump maps, and the wrappings on Master Mummy look like fabric with the tiny pores that you'd expect bump mapped and textured on. The effects on hits, charged punches, etc. are all really satisfying and look great. The game effects rarely get in the way of actual gameplay outside of the explosion effects. Explosions in the game can be distracting, and as a result, can be used almost as a smokescreen to hide an incoming punch or grab. This is almost never an issue, and if you're smart, it can actually be an asset. Even the official artwork for this game is gorgeous. I've never seen such well done motion blur on still images. It really brings each little piece of art that pops up to life. There isn't really much more to say than that. The visuals in this game are just plain solid, earning ARMS a visual score of 9 out of 10. Sound! The sound design of ARMS. Outside of the music, people rarely discuss it. It's time for that to change. Though not immediately. Music-wise, every track feels very fitting for the arena it pairs to. I will say that too many songs rely on the same style and progression of vocals that you find in the main theme. My favorite song in the game actually completely throws this vocal motif out the window, and that's the theme of Master Mummy's stage, the Mausoleum. The overdependence on the main theme is a bit disappointing, but that doesn't change the fact that the game has a stellar soundtrack. The game's sound effects are underappreciated. Each punch makes a satisfying combination of a whistle and a whoosh as it launches through the air. The clacking of Sky Arena's metal flooring when someone gets knocked onto it, and the whip noises made by a rush using one of the arms with names ending in Amander, are some of the most satisfying sounds in the game. Voice-wise, every character's limited array of voice lines is used to its fullest potential, providing a strong sense of personality from each character, whether it's Twintel's elegant, almost above all of this vocals, or Helix's confused and naive mutterings. My biggest issue with the vocals are actually Biff's lines. Biff's voice in the ARMS Direct invitational intro and other such appearances is that of a rather deep male, and it's kind of funny, considering that his perceived size is rather small. In-game, though, Biff's voice is really high-pitched and almost sounds like something out of Animal Crossing or Splatoon. Not totally out of the realm of Nintendo, but it's far from what we had with Biff previously. And this discrepancy is awkward and actually detracted from my experience of the Grand Prix mode. All of this grants ARMS an 8 out of 10 when it comes to sound design, which is not too shabby. While ARMS is an amazing game, its numerous gameplay issues genuinely hurt my impressions. Luckily, the visual and sound design choices were strong enough to help the game out. Overall, the game gets an 8 out of 10 from me. It's a truly fun game, so long as you don't mind a little rage and frustration here and there. Anyway, thank you for joining me for my first review. I hope you won't just take my word for it and will look into other reviews or even play the game for yourself to get a broader understanding of ARMS. But that said, I'm gonna head out. Thank you guys. Farewell.
Thanks so much for watching my video. You see those thumbnails? The one on the left is recommended to you by YouTube. The one on the right is my most recent video. If you want to see more of my content, don't hesitate to subscribe. I'm also on the channel Pokemon News, so feel free to swing by and say hi.